Morning, friends. God bless you. We are going to study another beautiful name that was given to God by uh, by one famous person in the Old Testament named Gideon, and that name is Jehovah Shalom. Now, it is very interesting that this particular name, Jehovah Shalom, has been used only once in a Bible. And it was given to a place, an altar that Gideon built. And you will find in Judges 6:24, then Gideon built an altar to the Lord and named it The Lord is Peace. So uh, the Yehovah Shalom is the Lord is peace or peace of the Lord is used only once, and whenever it is used first time in the Bible, it has a very significant meaning. And this is not only first time used in Judges 6:24, but it is the only time Jehovah Shalom has been used. However, it is interesting to note that the Shalom word by itself has been used nearly more than 70 times in the Bible. But combined with Jehovah Shalom, it has been used only once, that is in Judges 6:24. And simply we understand that Shalom means peace, but it is more than just a simple peace. And to understand what Shalom means, we need to look little more carefully to the story in Judges 6. Now, if you know the story in Judges 6 that Israelites has done evil in the eyes of the Lord, and they were given in the hands of Midianites for 7 years. And if you read Judges 6, Bible says that Midianites were very cruel. They were very cruel. Actually, they were stealing all the crops and everything, the animals and everything that Israelites had every year. And basically, they were starving. So they were hiding in the different places, in the caves, in the mountains. And they were very fearful. There was no hope. And in those times, Gideon himself was in a wine press and he was threshing wheat. And he was afraid too. He was very afraid. He was fearful. And the angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon and says that a mighty warrior. And what kind of salutation is this? He is fearful. He cannot stand in front of Midianites. And in his weakest point in his life, the angel of the Lord came to him and said that mighty warrior. God is reminding him his identity. His identity is how God is seeing him. And so many times, you and me have lost our identity. Our identity has been tainted by the circumstances we live, by the choices we have made, by the things people have spoken about us. But that is not the way God looks at us. God, in God's eyes, we are children of the most high living God. And that is our true identity. So the story goes like Gideon says that, then why we are suffering? Where is the miracles that our forefathers are talking about, the mighty works of the Lord? And then he says that if it is you, can I go back and bring something to offer? And God says, I will wait for you. Gideon goes home. He cooked the meat and he baked the bread. I don't know how it will take, how much time has gone by, but God waited for him. It is beyond our understanding that Almighty, all-powerful God can wait on a simplest request of one fearful man. But God waited. And Gideon came back and God said, put on the rock. And he put the meat and loaves on the rock, and the angel of the Lord touched with the tip of a staff. And the fire came down and burned everything. And then Gideon realized he's standing in the front, in the presence of the Lord. And if you understand, in those times, that was the time where people were punished for their wrongdoings. They were living under law. They were not living under grace at that time. So under law, you do good, get good, do bad, get bad. And Gideon realized that he's standing in front of the living God. He could have been killed instantly. But God was merciful. And then he named that altar Peace, Peace of the Lord, Jehovah Shalom, because he realized that God is a merciful God. He is not there to punish him. He is not there to take revenge. He is not there to take account of what wrongs Gideon has done in his life. But he is there to help him and help and deliver the Israelites. And that's why he called that place a Jehovah Shalom. And how many times me and you doesn't believe the lies that devil is telling us, that God is against us. God is not for us. God is there to get us. God is going to take revenge on us. God is taking account of everything we have done wrong. And he is there to punish us. But that is not the case. Jesus came and died for us, so our all sins are forgiven. According to 1 John 4:17, we are righteous, we are holy, we are acceptable in God's eyes. There is no condemnation against us. So when Gideon called this place a place called Jehovah Shalom, peace of the Lord, then we need to understand that peace and shalom is little different. Shalom is more encompassing everything, completeness, the wholeness in every area, completeness in every area. That is shalom. So if you wanted to understand little difference, or what the subtle difference between peace and shalom is, then you can see that one can detect a peace, but shalom is a mutual agreement. When one country attacks another country and overpower, and we heard in the history that they established peace, but that was a superficial peace. Because the people who are defeated, they are angry, but they cannot do nothing. Shalom is a mutual agreement between two parties. Where Gideon brought the offering, he understood that I can go to God in presence of the Lord, and there is no condemnation. He is not there to punish me. And God also loved Gideon and the people of Israelite. He saw their suffering. He wanted to provide deliverance. That was a mutual agreement. That was not enforcing something. Peace is a temporary pact. You see, you might have siblings in a family, and they fight, and there is a peace, and next day they will fight, and there is a peace again between them. So peace is a temporary. Shalom is a permanent agreement. It's a permanent. When Jesus rose from the dead, he came, and first thing he said to his people, his disciples, peace be unto you. Peace. Because it is a permanent relationship has been established. One can make a peace treaty. Shalom is the condition of peace. Shalom is a condition of peace. One can make a peace treaty and can break it, but shalom is the condition that brings the peace. When Adam and Eve were created in the beginning, it was a shalom, completeness. There was no disease, there was no pain, there was no suffering, there was no tears, there was a joy and happiness and completeness. But when the disobedience came, that shalom was destroyed. And when Jesus died on the cross, that shalom with God was restored. Peace can be partial. There will be peace in certain area, other area it cannot be. But shalom is a completeness. It's a completeness. It is whole. So when you see shalom, Jehovah Shalom, that is that completeness, the restoration that was before this fall of Adam and Eve, that God is bringing us through the death on the cross. And that is the reason Jesus said, peace be unto you. And if you see, when there was a storm in the sea, and Jesus was peacefully sleeping. It was a shalom, completeness, in a complete relationship with the Father. And you and me are you and me will go through this turbulence in our life. We are not shielded from it because we are still living in a fallen world. One day, shalom, we will experience completely. Right now, we are living in a fallen world, but in this fallen world, the Holy Spirit and the presence of God can bring the shalom around us in our sickness, in our trouble, in our all issues in our life. God can bring shalom if we surrender our life and trust Him that He is able to deliver us from whatever the situation we are in. So I would encourage you to go back and read the story, Judges 6, and you will realize that God is not against you and me. He is there for us. He is there to love us. He is there to carry us through because we are so precious and He loves us so much. God bless you and thank you.